The open water calls, whether it's a calm lake, a winding river, or a crashing coastal waves. Before you dip your paddle into the unknown, there's one thing every kayaker needs: the right gear. Whenever I'm about to hit the water, I go through a bit of a checklist or pre-flight check. Things that are important are so important they are hard to forget. Things like the kayak, the paddle, drinking water, and a life vest. They are the essential items. Almost everything else can be forgotten. On some expedition days though, the list becomes a bit more complicated. That comprehensive preparation is what I want to discuss today. It covers all eventualities. So here's the list of items in order of importance. A kayak. Any type of kayak will do. Some are just faster than others or made for different experiences. But let's face it, a kayak is anything that floats and has a pointy end on it. You will really need something like this to go kayaking. Paddles should be taller than you, and the taller the better in my experience. Just like you wouldn't want a matchstick on a tightrope. Paddles don't need to be super lightweight either, as their buoyancy in the water helps with weight. But carbon fibre paddles do allow the user to travel longer distance. I like both aluminium and carbon. A life vest, probably one of the most important pieces of equipment. There are many types of life vest or personal flotation device. Most good ones will have more buoyancy aid floats at the front of the vest. This is designed this way for keeping your face above the water in case you're incapacitated. It is called a Type 3 personal flotation device. There are then two types of this, inflatable and standard. The advantages of inflatables have mostly to do with their minimal bulk and coverage. In hot weather, an inflatable PFD will be much more comfortable than a conventional vest. Inflatables also have little bulk to get in the way of effective paddling. Inflatables are comfortable, but they do have some disadvantages. Inflatable PFDs rely on a CO2 cartridge to fill them when needed. This cartridge should be replaced annually, and the inflation mechanism must be kept clean and corrosion free. Once inflated, inflatables place most of the buoyancy at the wearer's chest, which can make it challenging to swim effectively in some situations. Finally, inflatable vests must be inflated to work. This means having an alert paddler who can activate the inflation mechanism or blow into the PFD to manually inflate it. A paddle leash. The paddle leash is attached to you for two reasons. One is so if you accidentally drop your paddle in the water or if it blows overboard, that you can retrieve it. The second reason is if you and your paddle go into the water, you will be able to retrieve it and the boat. Staying connected with two things floating away from you can be difficult. If for some reason you need to signal for help, a whistle will work as long as you are able to breathe. Screaming or shouting will destroy your voice box within 30 minutes. SOS is whistled like this: 3 short blasts, 3 long blasts, and 3 short blasts. Helmets are great for keeping your brain safe, and they are handy for mounting cameras on. If you are in any doubt why you need a helmet when going out on a solo adventure, well, just look at all the rocks underneath the water. They are everywhere. A Leatherman or multi-tool. It's really just there to cut you free of things. Chest mounted allows you the capacity to get to it if you need to. The other gear that I'll list is pretty self-explanatory. A bit of rope to tie up your boat, a black sack for a rain cover, a water bladder, a dry box or a skate box. The dry box has a set of gear in it, such as a raincoat or a place to keep things dry, like your phone. It's very much like a dry bag, but your dry bag would have some sort of clothing in it, like a whole change of clothing in the dry bag. But your escape box is something that you have on the deck, and you can just grab this or it'll float with you. The other thing that I would use a lot, or have used a lot over the years, is some sort of neoprene vest. It's like body protection for the core temperature, and that's made out of wetsuit material, and it would be a vest. It's quite uncomfortable, but it makes a difference if you hit the water. Final things on the list would be weather prediction. I would use a thing called Wind Guru, and Wind Guru will be an hour ahead or an hour behind a lot of the days when I go out kayaking. Another thing you can look at is the movement at the tops of trees. So if you want to know how windy it's going to be, you look at the tops of the trees, and that'll tell you what to expect. There's always some shelter when you're out kayaking. You can always find a tree to shelter under or an island to hide behind. And you need to kind of watch out for squalls. And they give you have a few seconds to deal with a squall, so if you can get to somewhere with shelter, you can sit behind that shelter until the squall passes. Another thing I do is I'll create a map of the intended route and an exit strategy. This lines up with your buddy, whoever is looking out for you. You should always text somebody when you go onto the water and off the water, and that gives you something of a reliable safety net in case you're incapacitated or you go missing. That somebody actually knows that you're out on the water. Anyway, last thing is you have to have your wits about you. Your senses. Don't ignore your senses. If something doesn't feel right, just don't do it. Kayaking is more than just a sport. It's a way to connect with nature, to challenge yourself, to find peace on the water. But none of that matters without the right preparation. So pack smart, paddle safely, and never underestimate the power of good gear. Because when you respect the water and gear up for it, it respects you back. Thanks for watching.